DJ PK, and we are joined by BYU's defensive coordinator. Kelly, do you look over your shoulder for someone when I say that? Are you used to that title?
No. I've always, like linebacker coach or defensive end coach, but man, when I said defensive coordinator, man, the little weight comes on your shoulders a little bit, but it's been fun. I keep saying it. I got great people around me. It makes the job way more manageable than I thought it would be, and it's been fun. I'm excited.
You're now the first-time defensive coordinator, but it's kind of like Scally up at Utah. You've been training for this for a long, long time. So how much does that give you a level of comfort that even though the title is new, you were special teams coordinator, and then you've been around both sides of the country, different places. Seems like you got a lot of experience as you assume this mantle.
Yeah, no, I've said this from day one. I look back to my playing career with Bronco and my coaching career with Bronco, and then on to Boise State, and then with Kalani the last 3 years, and Jay. I've learned a ton, and I've been well prepared, and I got good guys like that around me that have been and seen and done everything, and so having a guy like Coach Anderson around has been awesome, and learning from him. So to me, it's all about the people that you have around you, and obviously the experience helps, but there's a lot of other experience around us that I think prepares the whole staff to be ready for what's coming.
Yeah. When I hear people talk about this, and Cougar fans, a lot of them are like, Jay Hill was awesome. We're going to miss Jay Hill. And I think, well, that's true. Yeah. Jay was awesome. He had a great run at Weber State. He had a great, the last 2 years here have been awesome. But I keep thinking, because they're able to promote from within, you've literally had full access to Jay, everything he thought, why he did the things he did, why he regretted some of the things he did that he didn't do. It's kind of an unusual transformation here. It's not a lot of stuff has been lost. You were taking notes. You knew this day could come.
Oh, yeah, and Jay's awesome. I learned a ton from him in 3 years. He was a huge help for me on special teams, too, as well. Really good coach, really good person. I learned a lot from him as far as how to manage people, too, as well, how to manage players. He was exceptional at all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I've told this to everybody, Jay learned it from, at the same time Kalani was learning it. They both learned it from, Gary Anderson, who's in the building with us, and Gary learned it from Kyle Whittingham. And, there's this whole tree, and I feel like I have access to this whole tree. And, Jay and I still talk, and we were out golfing at this Pebble Beach deal, and we were, talking through stuff. And, we didn't sit back and watch, Self-Scout together. We watched it, while he's at Michigan and I was here. And it's funny, we had a lot of the same conclusions from what, could have been better from a year ago, and who played better than we thought, and who could have, maybe played a little bit better. But anyway, it was pretty interesting to just get that feedback when we'd been in separate rooms and kind of came down to the same ideas. But I just think ultimately, to have Kalani, to have Gary, to have DeMario Warren, to have Lewis Walker, all these guys have D-coordinator experience, and just to have all that around me, I just feel blessed to have a bunch of good people around me.
Okay, I don't want to talk football anymore. I want to talk Pebble Beach. You played Pebble Beach?
Yeah. Kalani, it's something that Lavelle, I think, started about 30 years ago. Oh. And, we were able, Kalani goes every year, so maybe you can get it in with Kalani right there. And a bunch of coaches from around the country go there. You get a foursome. Each coach gets a foursome, and you play 3 courses over a 3-day period. It's a pretty sweet deal, and you end with Pebble Beach on the last day. So, it was awesome.
All right. Just a little more football here, although we could talk Pebble Beach forever because that's fairly nice perk, dude. Very good perk. Yeah. You mentioned DeMario Warren. Remember him at Southern Utah. Southern Utah has some advantages, but they also have a lot of disadvantages, a lot of hills to climb. His time there, they were right there with Jay, sharing Big Sky title, playing head-to-head in an NCAA playoff game, and they had tough times after he left. So what is the secret sauce he's got? He's clearly got something because he outperformed what happened right before him, and he outperformed what happened right after him. That dude's got something. What are you seeing?
And there's a reason why I brought him here when I, was with him at Boise State. He did some awesome stuff at Boise State too as well. And very detailed coach, very smart, very intelligent. He's one of those guys that, I think he came from the offensive side. He was a running back, so he had to go through the grinder to be able to learn, what defensive football was all about, coaching the back end, and then becoming a coordinator under Ed Lamb, and then becoming the head coach and having a lot of success. And so I just think it kind of goes to that same mold I was in, but he was kind of under that Ed Lamb tree for a long time. He was at Southern Utah for 14 years. And so I just think that experience that he has as a coordinator, as a head coach, and then being able to see what he did as a position coach at Boise State, everywhere he's been, he's had results. And I know immediately when he stepped in the room and went through his first position meeting, the guy sat back and was like, they love Jay Hill, but, they listened to this guy talk and his knowledge of the game. I think they were all blown away, like, holy cow, this guy knows the game of football, and he knows coverages, he knows the back end. Not just that part, he knows the front end too as well, which is pretty, that's different for a back end coach to know a lot about the front end. So he's a super smart guy that I just think brings a lot of knowledge to the staff.
You left BYU, was it 2015?
2015 was our last year. 2016 was our first year at Virginia. Yep.
So at that time, I can remember talking to you about what you experienced in Virginia versus here in terms of resources. And you're a guy who speaks his mind, and you said, no, there's more resources over there than there was here, and you laid it out. Now that we're a decade later and we know what happened in December and more resources, just speak to the level of commitment financially and all the things that go into running a big-time program and what you've seen from BYU first time around to where it is now.
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is walk into our weight room and see a complete remodel of our weight room. That's top of the line. This addition was done after Bronco left. And then you look at our nutrition center, we didn't have any of that when we were here before. So the access to the food that these guys have, the access to our sports science, that sports science department's as big as, anywhere in the country. I mean, we got Ohio State and other SEC schools, Big Ten schools coming after Skyler, our sports science guy. So, I mean, it's that part of it of just being able to take care of the players with their bodies, their nutrition. There's a sleep part of it too as well. I mean, it's not even close. It's night and day. It's honestly two different programs. You wouldn't be able to tell the two programs side by side. That's how different it is. And just the quality, nothing against the players in the past, but I would say the quantity of the quality, right, is a lot better than what it was. We're deeper and more talented than we've ever been. And I think a lot has to do with going into the Big 12 and being able to recruit and have the finances to do all that. But I think they walk in here now and they're like, oh, these guys care about football. Look at their weight room, look at their nutrition, look at all just the access that the players have to a bunch of different resources. It's night and day from where we were, 10 years ago, independent with Bronco.
And what about night and day from a year ago? Because obviously that process with Penn State, it was a lot of money, and it's not just about a salary for the head coach. It's not just about a salary for the assistants, the staff, everything. How does the program move forward because of the discussions that happened last December?
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of resources committed to Kalani, and there was a lot of discussions there that he wanted to make sure our players had. And ultimately for him, which I really respect about Kalani, a lot of it didn't come down to him. It was about what more could the staff have and what more could the players have. And it wasn't more for him. It was more for everybody else that he wanted, because he knows if the players are taken care of and if their bodies are right, mentally, physically, emotionally, academically, all that stuff, we're going to be a successful football team. And what I've been able to see honestly in the last 6 to 8 months is that this team is, right now, we're bigger, faster, stronger than we were a year ago. And I thought last year was one of the fastest teams BYU's ever had. So I think we're a step ahead, and I think a lot has to do with the resources Kalani got for our team.
Do you guys talk about expectations much? Because obviously they're extremely high.
We call that, I think Nick Saban used to say rat poison, PK. That's the rat poison on the outside. He said, that's just rat poison. But, there's expectations outside the building, but our players know what we want. Yeah, we know what we want, and we talk about it. But at the end of the day, it was a saying I actually got from Bronco all the time. He used to say, keep the end in mind of, like, why did we come out to practice today? Well, it's because what we want to have accomplished in December and January. Mm-hmm. And we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to go tell the world what we're all about. We can talk about it in our building, but that's the process, I think, of what Kalani talks about, being humble and hungry and, just going to work every day. And you chip away every single day, and that, those goals that you set for yourself are going to come to fruition if you just stay the course.
We've been here so long, and we've seen so many people like yourself. We remember when you played, and we remember when you're a position coach, and then your career progresses. And so, of course, we're impartial journalists, but it's just more fun when the local teams win. Yeah. But we can't lie. There was a clear gap between Texas Tech and both the Utes and Cougars a year ago. When you say this team's bigger, stronger, and faster than a year ago, I hear that and think the gap is closing big time, or it's closed, or maybe they've surpassed them. Am I crazy? Am I up in the night? Before I go blathering away on the radio, do you want to say anything about that? Because that's right where my brain went.
Well, I just think, you have to play the games to obviously see that. But from my standpoint of just from our team, I don't know what they're doing, but I know from our team, we're bigger, faster, stronger, more experienced than we were a year ago. Obviously, having a quarterback that's more experienced helps us as well. And so I just look at that. I don't know if the gap's closed. Maybe they've gotten bigger, faster, stronger too as well, sure. Right? But I just feel from where we were a year ago, from our standpoint, I think we've closed the gap on that. And they're they're the standard right now. We got to catch those guys, and they're doing some great stuff. And hopefully we have a chance to play them. And if we do, they'll be in a championship game. That's when we'll play them, because we don't play them in the regular season. So I would like to experience that game to see if we've closed in the gap.
We've often heard over the years for BYU football and for others that were in the Mountain West and WAC that the starters were able to compete with just about anybody, but the depth really dropped off. And so what you're saying now, and answer this question then, that the depth now is something that I don't know if you're satisfied, but you're happy, whatever phrase, whatever word you would use, as far as, because we know injuries are going to come.
Yeah. I was looking at our 3 deep today. I'm just looking at linebackers now and trying to get these guys all reps in practice. And usually you don't worry about getting your 3s reps in practice. Those usually happen at the end of practice. Usually, like we did today, have a set for the 3s. But now I'm trying to rotate my 3s in, because I think I don't want to say they're just as good as my starters, but they could go start for us and we would be just fine. And they have started for us. It's Ace Kafusi and Miles Hall. Those are our 3s right now, and those guys have both started games for us. And so to be in that position at the linebacker, and I think it's the same at D-line and DB and safety, I just think we're 3 deep, and all those guys could be starters for us.
Is that going to translate on special teams?
It should. I mean, I think the deeper your team is, the better you are on special teams. And that's why I think we've been really good on special teams the last 2 years. We were deep in those positions to where you didn't have to have your starters out there playing all the special teams. You still have them out there for 1 or 2 units, but that's where I credit our team over the last 2 years. We were deeper than I ever had been at BYU before in 24 and 25. And so I would believe it would go in that same direction as long as those guys are bought in, which I know Coach Anna will get those guys bought in to do it.
And so you mentioned, Coach Anna, you're not special teams coach anymore, coordinator. Are you going to be whispering in his ear, fake punt, fake punt? What are you going to do?
I'll let him do whatever, because that was Kalani's pretty. I mean, he's pretty aggressive when it comes to that stuff, and so I'm excited about it. Yeah. So I know Coach Anna. It's really just the mindset that we do as a team. So I'm sure we'll be ready for that stuff.
Yeah, but you can really green light it when the defensive coordinator is like, "We got this. Go for it. If it works, great. If not, we'll clean it up.
Honestly,
we got it."
That was what was great with Jay. Jay was always ready for it. He knew what we were going to do, and always had the defense prepared. And we'll be the same way.
All right. Thanks for a few minutes. Congrats on the new gig, and congrats on the Pebble Beach stuff. Good work.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
The perks, PK. You really perked up at the thought of that perk. That was sweet.
Well, I know Kalani does that because he told me a story. He said, "Oh, yeah, man, I'm on that first tee." And he's golfed more. This was going way back. And I was shaking. And I just topped the driver. And, oh, man, hit it about 150 yards. And then I took a 2-iron when no one was looking on the second shot, and I smoked it.
That is the nature of that sport.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was all nervous, and that's what you got there. But I think Kelly is ready to go. He's got the training. He acknowledges the mentors that he's had. And the funny thing is that he will always first go to Bronco. And Bronco, long since removed from BYU, but his influence is still at BYU. And Kelly Poppinga is a literal example. And Kyle, who has been 5 decades ago from BYU and wouldn't say their names, blah, 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 his influence is still there. Yeah. And Gary Anderson is there. We saw him yesterday walking around. And then I saw him later, and he went to the weight room. And, he still gives me a jab every time he sees me. Like he told Poppinga, be careful of this guy. That's what I think is so cool, is that you've got these guys that have been trained here and they're around now training people. I think Gary he's a new title, special assistant to Kalani.
I think it's like head.
Yeah.
Chief consultant to the head coach.
It's a fancy title because it's indicative of his influence that he has on his program.
But he might as well be the Godfather.
But he's not retired. He's not phasing out. He has influence. He's there. And that's a great sounding board. And because he's been there, done that, he's not looking to take anybody's job. And everybody knows there's no threat.
Right.
Of, hey, if this doesn't work, this guy here, he's going to be, no, not at all. That's just not going to happen. He doesn't want it to happen. He could have been a coordinator somewhere if he wanted to, but this is the position that he wants to be in. And he wants to help his guys. And his guy, right off the bat, was Kalani, and now his guy has been Kelly.
He has said that multiple times.
Yeah.
And he said it to multiple people multiple times.
Yeah.
And he said
Chief
it.
consultant to head coach / to senior defensive consultant.
That's a powerful statement.
It's a mouthful. Say
Yeah.
that again.
Chief consultant to head coach / senior defensive consultant.
All right.
That's like Big Fred was the chief consultant to Kyle. From the great beyond, he was. And that we saw what the influence that is. And I remember Bronco told me this story. His brother played at BYU, played in the NFL, and was a defensive lineman. He was a little bit bigger. I think his first name was Matt. And he told me that Matt said the best coach, now this is a guy who played in the NFL, the best coach he ever had was Big Fred. And that was when
And then you
Kyle and Bronco are not exactly bosom buddies.
that was as fiery as the rivalry has ever been.
And so he said that. So that influence is still around. So I'm excited for Kelly because he's earned this spot. You know, he could have stayed, well, I don't know if he could have, but maybe just stayed local. But no, he took his family all the way on the other side of the country. His in-laws, obviously his family's from Evanston, but his in-laws, I know that his in-laws live close to me, and he told me that, and I already knew it anyway. But all the way over, then comes all the way back, then gets back here. So this is a guy who's put in the time to have this position. He's earned the right to be the D coordinator. And Kalani said that he's never had a D coordinator work harder than Kelly. So I'm excited for him. And, yeah, I'll flat out tell you, I'm going to be rooting for him. Yeah.
Get in line.
Yeah. I covered the guy as a
Get in
player.
line.
I was the beat writer for the Tribune when he was a starting linebacker. Back when that Bronco era there, where they seemed like they had a ton of great linebackers.
Because they did.
Yeah.
They did. They were really, really strong.
Yeah. Right.
They have been historically. I mean, that's always been a great position for them.
But that was...
Lavelle had great linebackers.
Yeah, they were really good then.
Kalani's had great linebackers.
Keel, Nixon.
Yeah.
Was it Buchwald and then Kelly, and I'm sure there's other guys that if you told me those guys, Cam Jensen, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to name them all. There's no way I'll forget.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We've covered a lot of ground this morning. There's some NBA news, NFL news, big contracts being handed out. What has gone wrong with the Dodgers? We'll get to everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeComb.
For Utah, it's offense and maybe defensive line, but primarily the offensive line. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I got to dig a little deeper here. But honestly, the more I kept looking at it, the more I kept thinking, it really comes down to those two position groups. Can Utah have offensive linemen that can step up?
You know, I think the big question mark outside of the offensive line for Utah nationally is Morgan Scalley.
Yeah.
But, nobody even talks about that around here because I think everybody has a real comfort factor with the way things looked in that bowl game, honestly. But the bottom line was they were sharp. They took advantage of opportunity more so than maybe a Whittingham team would. It felt like the guys were loose and ready to ball. That's like a sign. And then you hear all the stuff from the guys, how happy they are.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker Radio Headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. How many losers are there in pro sports, PK?
I haven't found one.
0. There are some players. I mean, these are nice players, but they're not exactly the megastars here.
I will say, before you get to the numbers, I've met a lot of losers in sports radio.
See? Phoenix Suns give wing Dylan Brooks. You love his flopping. I know you do. Prepare to hit the memes. Let's go. Phoenix Suns give Dylan Brooks a 3-year, $73 million contract extension. They overachieved expectations last year. He's a key part of the Suns' rotation. He averaged a career-high 20.2 points per game. He gets 3 years, $73 million.
Wow.
And, go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Wow.
Ravens give Zay Flowers a contract extension, 4 years, $140 million, $108 million, $108 million guaranteed. And Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, who I think is the biggest star of all of these, 2-year, $44 million contract extension, $39 million guaranteed. Bonuses could push it to $47 million. He ran for almost 1,600 yards last year. He's had 4,000-yard seasons, so that's why it's a 2-year extension. He's already had basically double the average running back career. A little risky to give him big money further out than that, but 2-year extension, there you go.
He was a stud in high school. I told you he was a Jersey kid. I followed him. He was a stud at Wisconsin. Saw him play when I went back there, covered BYU, and he's been a stud with the Colts.
He's been so good for them.
Yeah, been a stud every step of the way. Good for him. I like to see those NFL guys get the money because that's brutal. And get that money, get that guaranteed money, and use it wisely, and away you go. And that's pretty cool.
27 years old, to give him 2 or 3 seasons healthy here, he's going to be over 10,000 career yards. He's already over 7,500. And I always think, man, when you get to 10,000 yards as an NFL running back, that is rare. That is hard to do. That is quite the career. And he's right there.
Is that 1,000 football fields?
Yes, it would be. Very good.
Just nice round numbers.
That is not true. I just did the math on that again.
That's why I asked before starting it.
That is 100 football fields.
100?
100, yeah, 100 times 100 it would be 10,000.
Okay.
Don't do math on the radio. How many times have I said that? If I'm just sitting there doing it, I can figure it out and I can get it. But if I'm talking and doing something, then I'm going to mess it up.
That's why I asked.
It's 100 football fields.
So you expect him to run for 100 football fields?
That is saying something.
I agree.
All right. So big money, pass it around. Yay. Everybody get the cash. Here you go. I left out Stephon Diggs. 1 year, $12 million. He was saying, hey, I'm good enough to be, you can have your stars, but I'm good enough to be the second receiver on most teams. And he found one who agreed, and the Commanders give him a year and $12 million. Commanders, that's a little, that's kind of the Colorado Buffs, right? Could be good. They were up, they were down. There's explanations. The coach stepped away. He had health issues. They lost their quarterback.
I'm expecting him to be good.
Yeah. Everybody can't be good in that division. People expecting the Cowboys to bounce back. The offense was good. The defense has got to be better. It was just
bounce back from
terrible.
What, though?
The Cowboys get back to 10 wins, be a playoff team. They should be that good. And when you say bounce back for Washington, I thought that's what you were talking about. Winning record.
Oh, yeah, but that's another story.
Right,
but it seems like I've been saying the Cowboys I'm wondering what they're bouncing back from. I know 2 years ago when Daniels was a rookie, Washington was really good. Then they had the problem last year. So it's easy to see the bounce back. Mm-hmm. But the Cowboys, I'm trying to figure out what are they bouncing back from?
Bouncing back from they were a playoff team, and then they had I just thought they had a terrible year. They had a losing season. So get back to being a playoff team. That's bounce back.
But it's been that way for a number of years. So but I don't consider that bouncing back. Washington, when they draft Daniels, he comes up. He's a surprise maybe to some, and they're a revelation. They had struggled. He gets them. They got to the conference final, right? Mm-hmm. And so you can see what their bounce back is. But the Cowboy story has been the same story for a number of years.
Well, they had back-to-back 12-win seasons, and now they've had back-to-back 7-win seasons. And I expect them to get back to double digits and playoffs. The defense was bad. They spent a ton of money on it. They brought guys in.
Maybe they will.
And they
That's what I wanted to I wanted to figure out. What are they bouncing back from?
I'd have to look at the defensive stats, but I think there's key categories where they're like 30, 31, 32. I mean, not bad. Like literally bottom of the league bad.
Okay.
If they could just get to 15th or 20th in key defensive categories.
But what does that translate to in the postseason? To me, that's not bouncing back.
Well, that's all they've ever been. I mean, I don't want to talk about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they're not bouncing back.
I don't think either Washington or Dallas should be Super Bowl teams. I think they both can be playoff teams. I think everyone's chasing the Rams. And Seattle, they're the defending champs. There wasn't much difference last year. It looks like the Rams have made moves to improve. It looks like Seattle, because of financial stuff, not sure they're quite as good, quite as deep. But that's the the West is the top of the. I just don't think Washington and Dallas are going to that class. If Philly does, great. But I think the Giants should be way better, and Philly should still be pretty good, and that just can't all happen.
They play enough. I mean, they only play each other a minority of the schedule.
They have 6 games in the division and 11 out.
Right.
So if they really clean up.
I mean, I think there's opportunities there. Don't be dissing my childhood division.
I know. You go back to your childhood, fine. I go back to mine.
But not to make salient points. Again, when it's a joke.
Okay.
You need to understand that, dense boy.
They do, to your point about the 11 games, they're playing the AFC South. That's a division. They can make some headway in that division. They can pick up some W's there. There's wins to be had.
Just go Dubs. You don't have to go all the way.
I say Dubs. You start giggling.
Well, I want street cred. That tat didn't do it. You need more.
Tat. Now, they do have to play. The NFC East plays the NFC West. So there's a dub waiting for you in Arizona, but those other 3 games are going to be hard. Now maybe you can just split it and go 2-2, right? Beat Arizona and pick off one of the other 3.
You're dissing the Carson Beck tenure, which is going to start tonight?
The Cards are going to have their challenges. I believe there is a rebuild that might take a little bit of time. I have low expectations for the Cardinals. I have very low expectations for Miami. There's full-on rebuilds going. Starting over. Hit the reset button, people. Dolphins and Cards.
Well, you don't say for the Cardinals the rebuild is going to take a long time. You just say business as usual.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like the Sacramento Kings. They had a little blurb,
right? Yeah.
But that's about it.
And it starts at ownership. And until they get that straightened out,
they're not.
The Bidwells aren't selling, so This is just going to be the way it is. Every once in a while, they'll catch lightning in a bottle. But it's every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback, and Carson Palmer was pretty good. But that's it. And I think before that, Jake Plummer got him a game or 2 in the postseason.
High expectations for the Dodgers. Who has the best record in the National League now, PK?
I think it goes Brewers, Braves, Dodgers.
Yeah, there it is.
If I remember.
Because you do, because you look at the standings and you know.
Well, I watched that.
Brewers
game.
are 2 up on the Braves and 2.5 on the Dodgers.
I watched the Brewers yesterday because I wanted to see Skeens. He's not been dominating to the level that he had been.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't rough him up. But you talked about if the Brewers had gotten Skubal, but they still have this Harrison kid to join the Miz kid, and he's pretty good. And he was pitching yesterday, so I watched that a little bit before flicking over to I had the Philly game on with Montreal. Not Montreal. Montreal. Then Washington.
Wow.
I don't know why I said Montreal.
Old school.
And then at 7:40, Diamondback game. And then they scored a bunch of runs in that Diamondback game, 8-0. I thought, sweet, I can go to bed. If they can't hold an 8-run lead, then they don't deserve to win.
And you don't want to watch that kind of meltdown anyway.
10-4. I wouldn't want to, but I would be screaming at
Diamondbacks.
the television, yeah. So.
The important thing about the Dodgers here, it's not so much that they're not number 1, and I get they're the Dodgers and they're expected to win it, so they don't have the best record. But the fact that you're 3rd, now you don't get a bye. Right. Now you're in a 2 or 3 wild card series where anybody can be vulnerable because baseball is just, it can be so,
it's
fluky doesn't fit. Random is a better word than fluky. It can be so random. Anybody can lose 2 out of 3. Oh, the best teams lose 2 out of 3 series. It happens. Man, you really want to stay out of that. But right now they're in it. No, a long way to go still, so.
Well, I'm wondering what they'll do now. They get a little kick in the pants and maybe have some motivation.
Get focused.
And they're supposed to get a couple of pitchers back, starters. So,
always a big deal.
Yeah, we'll see. Snell.
And Shohei's hitting, and they've got enough with those guys healthy and Skubal. Just take Shohei out. The knee's got to calm down. Just
so you're
let him hit.
To what I've been saying for 2
years.
homers.
You never wanted him to pitch. I love the show of it all. Plus, I don't care if the Dodgers lose. I'm a Padre fan. I don't know what to tell you. I don't care if the Dodgers lose. But it's made the decision. They did not have enough pitching, and he's a very good pitching.
Should have been no decision in the first place.
They did not have enough pitching. And injuries did it to him. And now they're getting healthy guys, and they've added Skubal. I do wonder in the playoffs.
Mike Trout threw a no-hitter in high school. Don't pitch him.
I do wonder in the playoffs if we'll see him for an inning or 2. that wouldn't irritate the knee, and an inning's such a big deal in a playoff game. And I wonder, I don't know.
You haven't done something for months. Now I'm going to put you in the most important time. That screams a little bit of panic.
I get it. But, an extra inning game, deep in the series, you've used pitching. And also, I think Shohei's got the mentality, and, he's speaking through an interpreter and all that, but I think he's got the mentality like, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this championship. I'm going to get 3 outs. Give me the ball. Stop talking about it.
I think got his countryman who did that last year, Yamamoto.
Yeah.
And he can speak. Both of them can speak English.
Oh, yeah. They may not want to do it with the media, but
they do some.
But they'll definitely talk to managers in the dugout. Give me the ball.
When they have that TV thing, because anytime you ask him a question, he's nodding his head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's been in the U.S. 10 years.
Yeah. He's picked some stuff up. So they lost to the Cubs, so they get swept, so they lost 6 in a row as the Red Sox and Cubs both sweep them. You say, well, it's a tougher part of the schedule, and yeah, those are playoff teams. Those are teams are going to have to beat.
So you think they're going to break through, their next series?
I do not know the Dodgers schedule.
Yeah, well, I do.
What is it?
Diamondbacks.
Ooh, a week out. They got a series of the Brewers coming up. Arizona, Kansas City, Milwaukee are the next 3 series. All right. A Brewer series will be a big deal. That comes to your point about the kick in the pants. Get locked in this week, and then next week you got a series like, okay, we're going to send a message.
Okay, get locked in next week then.
Don't get locked in against Arizona. Well, I'm a Padre fan. It's a wild card race. Go ahead and get
where there will
be
the place will be packed. And
it's in Arizona.
65% will
be so many Dodger fans. So many. Yeah.
I went to a game last year with Dodgers and Diamondbacks in Phoenix, and I got so mad. I was just dropping Dodger fans left and right.
Combination of people from L.A. who live in Phoenix, people from L.A. who travel over for it, people in Vegas who come down for it who are from L.A. Yeah, there'll be there'll be so many Dodger caps there. Mm-hmm. There'll be a ton of Dodger caps there.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, lids.
So
lids, dubs.
Oh.
I don't want to be chastised here. Caps. My dad wore a cap. Kid wears lid.
Okay.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
I did not. I didn't even hear you. I heard you, but I didn't know what I was hearing.
Golf Wyndham Championship got a little juice. Got 4. Count them, 4 local names here in Small Lake City, where everybody knows somebody or knows somebody who knows somebody. Tony Finau, Patrick Fishburne, Zach Blair, and Kia Akina. Cougar golfer, Lone Peak High product. 4 guys with local ties in the field. You got to know somebody who knows somebody.
That's super cool. And, golf is largely a Caucasian sport. Mm-hmm. But no, we got 2 minorities from the state of Utah playing in this.
See?
That's super cool.
Now, how many of the 4 could make the cut? Let's get them there on the weekend. We're all more likely to watch.
Geez, you want to talk about random.
Yeah, I know.
Golf. 72. And then the next day, same course, 62.
Playing earlier this week, 3 swings in a row. Mediocre swing, bad swing, great swing and result. And I get back in the cart, and the guy I'm playing with, how do I go? And he doesn't even look at us. It's golf. It's like, what are you going to do, man? Pros are hitting the ball in the water. What do you want? One of the things came up in my timeline last night. I don't know why. Classic 1960 U.S. Open, and Ben Hogan's explaining how he dumped one in the water on the next last hole and lost. And he's Ben Hogan. He's got 9 major titles, and he's got a line of clubs named after him long after he's passed away. Legend. He dumped one in the water. How could he? Because it's golf.
Well, there's a Rancho Park. It's it's just down the street in L.A., just for those of you who've been to the Latter-day Saint Temple. It's like a mile away, just south. And they used to play the L.A. Open there, and they have a memorial. Well, I think Arnold had like a 12, and there's a monument there, his shots and whatnot.
What happened?
Because it's right along the road, and he yanked a couple in the road, blah blah blah. That's golf. You just don't know.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A lot of football today. If you didn't hear Brett Ciancia talking about pork rolls and what?
Taylor ham.
Pork rolls and Taylor ham. Pennsylvania guy who talked Jersey Shore with PK. But also, for a guy who lives on that side of the country, plugged into the Big 12, loves the Big 12, went to a game at Texas Tech last year.
The BYU game.
As he pointed out, he said, you see ACC games, the stands aren't shaking. He says, you watch big games in the Big 12, Utah, BYU, Texas Tech, the stands are shaking. People are going nuts. Amount of passion. And he really thinks those three have largely pulled away from the league.
I would love to see him find his way out here November 7th.
He brought the date up with us. We did not bring it up with him. He thinks both teams are going to have really good records going into that game.
I regret being on vacation that week.
What?
See if you're listening.
We've been talking about PK's vacation schedule and commercial breaks for the next year. I've been urging him to take a couple big trips. Go for it. Do it.
But not
Pack
that
up
week.
and go. And literally, we were talking about specific sporting events. Can't miss that event. Well, if I go to that, I could leave from that event.
Yeah.
But not that week.
No, I anticipate, as long as everything's on the up and up, being in Rice Eccles Stadium that night.
There you go.
Or that afternoon.
That
maybe.
afternoon, I would think. 1:30, I would hope. That time of year, you want the day game. Plus, I think you want when more of the country is awake and can watch. I mean, granted, there'll be a bunch of good games on
I always
TV that
want
day.
day games.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like the night games in September? Long before TV intervened.
If I had my choice, no, but I can handle them.
Long before TV intervened, the Utes used to play night games in September and then day games in October and November.
But for me, I'd still rather have it be in a day.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your feedback when we come back next, right here on the Zone. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time for your feedback. What are you thinking about today's show? Do you believe Utah and or BYU have done enough to close the gap with Texas Tech? Jimmy, yes. Gary, I think those three teams are neck and neck for the Big 12 championship.
Wouldn't it be neck and neck and neck?
It would have to be yes.
Right?
But isn't this
They're going
like
three wide down the stretch?
Isn't this like the golf tournament that it's like a shotgun start on the final day? Like, you're not all head to head in the final group. Texas Tech can get to the title game and then they'll play BYU or Utah, and BYU and Utah have to play each other.
They're starting on the back nine where the other two
starting on the back nine or whatever. You got the morning tee time versus the afternoon tee time, and you're playing in the wind and they're not.
Yeah, and they won't be playing each other the last 3 weeks of the season either, for that matter. So, but that's...
last year it made sense. It is the way it is with these 16-team leagues. And last year the league got a break. Everybody played each other, right? And Utah lost to both of them, so they were the one who was out of the title game, and you knew why, and it was decided on the field.
But it's been that way for over a decade.
Going the 10 teams leagues that wouldn't play 9 games, that's where it started. Who do you miss? 1 game. Then you go to 12.
Once it became the Pac-12.
The Pac-12. Who do you miss in 2 games?
Yeah.
And that mattered. And the Utes, the year they went in, were literally celebrating. They weren't playing Oregon and Stanford, who at the time looked like the 2 best teams in the North. It's like, whoa, catching a break there. And it just accelerates as you go to 14 to 16 to 18.
Even at that, like when Utah first got in the first Pac-12 title game, they had to have Oregon beat the Sun Devils. And I was texting. They played Colorado earlier in the day, and then they played the Oregon game was at night because they always made sure the Devils went to the Pacific Northwest in November and 8:30 starts.
Sweet. Can we get back at 5 in the morning, having played in the rain and 41-degree weather?
Precisely.
It's like every single thing you don't want to do.
So I'm in a hotel at Colorado because I don't charter back after the game, and Utah does, and I am texting with an unnamed coach on Utah staff.
That seems unbelievable because you're a huge Cougar and all the Utes hate you.
Well,
except for the people who work there and get paid there.
Yeah, and we're going back and forth. I'm in a hotel room, he's at home, and we're both watching the game. And we're texting back and forth.
About what's going on, what it means.
And Oregon won on a bad call, I might add, but that's just my bias. And so then the Utes got in. Great. And I think that stuff kind of happens even before they did. You need this team to beat that team, whatever. And obviously the craziest one was one of the Rose Bowl years in which they needed 4 things to happen, and they did.
Well, Yeah, the thing is, I thought 3 of them were always going to happen.
Understood.
And they did. But the 4th one, I did not think would happen.
But you still needed them to happen. You still needed 4 things to happen.
You did, and the upsets happened, and the shocker happened where they needed the shocker to happen. You know? I mean, Oregon State with the second half, you're like, if I told you that was going to happen, you wouldn't have believed me. It was the inferior team did 74 things right in the second half, and the superior team did 83 things wrong.
Kenny Dillingham's last game as an assistant coach. He was the OC at Oregon.
And
the plane, how about that?
Nuts.
How about that being distracting? The plane was literally right there to get on the plane so he can fly to Tempe for the press conference. And I'm grateful that he's the coach and all that stuff, but still.
And to circle back, when we see people staying at Utah and BYU, sometimes in huge numbers, it is crazy because look at Oregon with all the money they have. Look at how many times we've had that plane story.
Yeah, that was a coordinator to head coach.
That's a coordinator to head coach. It's also been a couple of head coaches. Yeah.
But can you imagine if a player, I got to go because I got this, I'm flying over here for my new school.
I know.
We'd go crazy.
Hey, I'm going to leave right after practice on Thursday. I got to fly up to Kansas City to talk to the Chiefs.
or another college program.
Yeah.
That would be unheard of.
DJ and PK, thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow morning. DJ, PK, and Aaron Roderick tomorrow morning. Thanks to the Cougars for letting us chat them up for a while. Tim Lacombe and I are coming up next. Stay with us.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.